does a medley for Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. And just a little bit of trivia for you. If you've ever seen that movie before, and you know, and you've enjoyed Jack Skellington's singing, you may not have been aware that Danny Elfman, the composer, was actually the one singing during that movie. That was his voice. He wrote the music, he wrote the lyrics, and he also sang the main character's parts. So that's just something to keep in mind. We're going on to Rest, which is actually the second movement from a three-movement work called Minnesota Portraits. And Rest, you'll hear a couple of snippets of an old familiar Christmas carol throughout. It was just the composer's impression of him and his wife traveling to Minnesota and just being really in awe from what they saw at nighttime in Minnesota during Christmas. All the lights, the fireworks, the snow, and just the overall graciousness of the people themselves. So we hope you enjoy Rest.
Does anybody know who Dave Brubeck is? Dave Brubeck? The late great jazz pianist? Does anybody maybe know Take 5? Yeah. All right. You're going to hear a pretty interesting take on Hark the Herald Angels. It's going to be very Brubeck inspired, very Take 5-ish. You're going to hear some interesting grooves that you're not going to hear in typical pieces that you're going to hear. And that's because we're going to hear 5 beats instead of the normal 2, 3, 4 that you would normally hear, which gives it a nice little balance. So we're going to go a little bit jazzy here, change the style completely. We hope you enjoy your Hark the Herald Angels swing.
see if this thing works. It does.
Many of you are much aware of Twas the Night Before Christmas. It is probably the most definitive example of what we all think Santa Claus is like as far as appearance, his reindeers, his mode of travel, everything. It comes from this one poem from the 1880s. We've got this really great musical setting by Newell Long here that incorporates the poem with a lot of whimsical sound effects. I like to think of it almost as an old classic 1950s, 1960s movie or cartoon. I love this piece. We've actually done it 2 years ago, and it's probably going to become a traditional piece. It's not as performed as it needs to be. We hope you enjoy our rendition of Twas the Night for Christmas with Mr. Bill Jarvis as our guest narrator. He comes to us from the community band. Which, by the way, if I'm going to put in a shameless plug as well, if you ever played music before, even a band, and you just put it away because of life and careers and all this other stuff, seriously think about coming to join the community band. It's at New Bern High School. It's in the band room. And we meet one Monday each week, and we'll start again in January. I think the second Monday of January. So if you're interested, please come out. We go from 6:45 to 8:45. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me about it.
Went to the window. driver, so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. No Dasher, no Dancer, no Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Runner and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away, dash away, dash away, all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle marked to the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkle I heard on the roof the prancing and pouring of each little hoof. As I drew up in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot. And his clothes were all tarnished with ashes of soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkle, his dimples, how merry, his cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry, his droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stock of the pipe hung up tight in his teeth, and the smoke would encircle his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shot when he laughed, like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not word, went straight to his work, and filled up the stockings, and then turned to the door, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, and to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like down on a thistle. But I heard him exclaim ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all!" And to all a good night.
for Play the Awkward, which is going to be appropriate because it's going to recall all the things you heard for tonight, so it's almost like a pop quiz. You must remember them all. All right, we're going to go ahead, and I just want to talk about a couple things. I need to thank the people who helped the band program run. All right, I'm in charge of helping these young men and women learn music. I have other people who help with the financial aspects as far as getting us the funds that we need. And that comes down to the band boosters that we have. Now we have a couple people that we see almost as much as I'm at the school. They're almost assistant band directors. So I want to go ahead and just make sure I give thanks to a couple of people. Please forgive me if I forget names, because I'm really talking about the entire band club here. But one person in particular, Mrs. Kathy Genke, who's the band president, she's around almost as much as I am, and I think all the parents will acknowledge that she's a very big part of her success. The parents are very important as far as getting equipment here, and for example, we've had a couple parents like Mr. May and Mr. Hayes transport throughout the year, and I know we've had several other parents do that as well, and I just want you to know that we can't do this, and we can't be successful without your support, so we truly do appreciate it. I also want to thank the administration for their support of the band program. It's not you don't see that in some other places, unfortunately, but they're very supportive of us. Anytime I go to them, they're very accommodating to our needs. So that speaks a lot for the support of the arts that they have and for the success that they want to see in these students. So we couldn't do it without them. So let's give the administration a hand as well. And also this equipment, while some of it was transported from Newburgh, some of it wasn't here before. So I would probably be shoot myself in the foot if I didn't acknowledge this one too. But my wife, Mrs. Elbing, Riverside Fields band director, did a great does a lot behind the scenes as well. She really truly is the assistant band director, but she does a lot even here as far as transporting stands, chairs, certain percussion equipment here. So we have less to do on our own. So she does a lot of stuff behind the scenes as well. And that's another thing. Really supports. Really appreciate what the band directors over at Nation McDonald and Riverside Fields are doing. Anybody who's been following us for the last 4, 5, 6 years, you know it's a little strange that we have a concert right now past 8:30 because we only have one band out here. So to have 2 separate bands with 2 separate programs, that's quite an amazing feat. And it starts with the band directors of the middle schools sending the kids to us. So one more time, just give them a hand and we'll wrap it up here. Parents, please be supportive. After we get done with the gallop here, all the kids do need to be responsible for helping put the chairs and stands back and the percussion equipment away. It takes very little time. We've got 100 kids. It should theoretically take about 5-10 minutes. So please be patient with that, and please expect that to happen. We hope you enjoy the holiday gallop, and again, pop quiz. You need to know all of these tunes that you're about to hear. You've heard them.
Someone else moves to the grave. Pack of youth.